Hello friends, welcome to our second lecture on political participation, and it will be in all probability the most informal as well as the briefest lecture in this course. As part of the requirements for this topic, I've asked you to take for fun a political ideology test, which is how your own views might be exhibited on the current political spectrum. I'm not grading this is just for you to get some idea of how you fit into all the ideologies and all the different ways of looking at politics. I don't have access to this information, nor do I want to. I just want you to have an experience. Also, this is not a perfect test. This is not scientific in the purest sense, in the regard that political scientists haven't very closely analyzed this survey tool, but it is kind of helpful and gives you some idea of your preferences and how they fit in with other preferences. So have a little fun with that, and when you finish that, or if you've already finished it, stay tuned now for the rest of the lecture. We talk about public opinion and later in the class, but related to that is political participation. A democracy needs several key elements for it to survive, and we've discussed aspects of this already in the semester. You've got to have free and open elections. You've got to have the participation, free and open participation of the citizenry. You've got to be able to vote, got to be able to take a stand on your candidates. And thirdly, democracy, as we've learned, needs a free and open media to criticize the government, to promote the citizens' concerns, and to help advance the improvement of the political system, and to keep citizens informed. So those are some basic things that are necessary for democracy to be created and to prosper and to be sustained over time. Now, people within a democracy or a republic can have different views of opinion. That's actually good. And one of the great things about a free society like the United States is that we have many sources of political insight. When we come to a later lecture on the mass media in American politics, we'll be talking more about that. But after you take the political ideology quiz, please know that if you feel inclined in a certain direction in terms of participating in certain political causes or even political parties, or just reading more about things that interest you, there are many, many sources. Now, most major political magazines are available on the internet, or you can subscribe to them, and they carry perspectives that would be in accord with your own interests. Just to give you a quick survey of how you might want to think about this. In terms of daily newspapers, we have truly national newspapers. Again, we'll be talking about these more when we look at mass media in American politics. But many newspapers have a particular point of view. The most famous newspaper in the world is the New York Times. And the New York Times is generally viewed to be slightly to the left, more liberal. By liberal, I mean seeing a larger role for government in the lives of the citizenry. On the other hand, papers that tend to be, daily newspapers that tend to be more conservative include the Wall Street Journal. It tends to, especially on its editorial pages, tends to favor more limitations on the role of government. So those can be some places for you to start. And I encourage you to read a daily newspaper every day to keep yourself informed. You can read it online or read the print edition. I'm old-fashioned. I read the print edition many times, but I read a lot of online newspapers as well. There are also news magazines and political magazines of opinion. If you want to kind of go over the whole spectrum, beginning on the right side of the spectrum, you might want to start looking at National Review. You might also want to look at Commentary, which is published by the American Jewish Committee. You almost might want to look at the American Conservative, which is a relatively new magazine and somewhat nuanced. The kind of in the middle of the road, if you want to explore that, sort of the pure news magazine, Time, Newsweek. Um, those are fairly standard. They offer and try to be objective and present a number of views. On the left, one of the standards is the New Republic, which I would recommend for you to take a look at. The Atlantic. There are many others of these as well. There are also magazines sort of on the far right and far left that are kind of fun to look at. They're more really on the far left. For example, when I was in college, I read The Progressive, which was really insightful to me. I didn't realize that there were this diversity of perspectives in America. In fact, when I was in college, the nuclear freeze movement was very prominent, and that's the attempt to freeze the number of warheads that we had in this ongoing Cold War, to limit the possibility, at least in the minds of the creators of the movement, the possibility of a nuclear war. Well, as a kind of response, extreme response to that, the Progressive ran in an issue the plans for how to build a nuclear bomb. Now, apparently, I'm not a scientist of the chemical or physics orientation or political scientist, but apparently the science is not that complex, at least for a rudimentary bomb, and if you have the right elements to build the bomb, which are, I think, the key task. Well, the Progressive magazine published the plans for building that bomb. It ended up being a very serious court case against the Progressive, which the Progressive won. I remember receiving this in the mail in my college dorm room, and having this in my college dorm room, and my college suite mates thought that I was fairly dangerous because this was the sort of thing I was reading. Little did they realize it was really sort of a constitutional issue and a statement of political principle on behalf of the editors of the Progressive, that they wanted to go to the extreme. Well, Mother Jones is another magazine, again, on the far left, may be worth exploring. So these are all very exciting, readable magazines. There are many more than this. The Week is one, another one that's in the middle. But these are just some ideas, some really reflections and ruminations on my part to encourage you to develop your political thinking and to realize there are a lot of sources out there. Also a lot of hundreds of very sophisticated websites in the 21st century that are political news magazines themselves. And they serve all kinds of purposes. On the right again, pretty much on the pro-military, pro-Israel, pro-defense is the Weekly Standard, which I'd encourage you to look at too. Well, those are some surveys of possibilities. There's many more. As you find them, let me know, and I'll share them with this class and future classes as well. But try to be the best informed citizen. The world needs you. America needs you, and your communities and our state of Georgia needs you. Thank you very much.